I wake up at 4 a.m., no alarm clock, as usual, with a smile on my face knowing how much I will be serving today. But looking to the side, my husband has already left the bed. He likely got fed up with my flailing around during the night as I stumble across the veil that separates dreams from nightmares. I move from this room to the only other room in my house and start singing the song that gets my husband ready for the day. Gucci, morning, 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 Gucci, morning, morning, morning. Good morning, morning, morning. Good morning, morning, morning. Good morning, morning, morning. My husband is my dog. I know, gross, right? But I also call him my child. That is like so sick and twisted of me. I'm so Lannister coded. I need to keep him happy so that Westeros doesn't fall to the flames. My husband only eats super fancy food from the Netherlands. It makes him happier than anything I could make from scratch. Look at how ravenous he is. I place extra food on the couch because I used to give him dental sticks post-meal. But later I've read online that they're useless. Too bad my child was already conditioned to find more food on the couch after his regular meal. Now I tell others that I do it for enrichment. Even though that's not the case, he's got me cornered. I am under a lot of pressure. With my child fed, I engage in my bowel movement initiating activities. That means almond milk with instant coffee and a ciggy. I know that everyone vapes nowadays. Guess I'm just a lot more traditional than others calling themselves treadwives. Addiction is not cute and I don't condone it. If you watch this and think that's funny, you're wrong. Being a smoker isn't funny, but I find it impossible to quit as it's been my stimming method of choice since I was 15. My child also hates it and judges me all day long. Help me quit if you can. Now on to my own breakfast. I am in an overnight porridge era, but a little sick of it, so this week I went with my inner child and picked Cocoa Pops. These never fail to make me feel judged at the supermarket when people see it on my basket. I usually eat these in total silence. Manifesting greatness for my day and gathering the energy to go walk my husband. But before that, a little artistic break to sort out my feelings for life and have fun with you guys. Enjoy. Hi y'all. As you can see, I am not synchronized with the video because this is my first voiceover video. I decided that I didn't want to be on camera. And yet, there I am, but what you're watching is footage of me doing a Duolingo Japanese lesson.
このカラフルなキーボードは光ります。
Clearly slaying it. And yeah, I've decided to go with the voiceover because I have so much to talk about that I feel it would be really boring just to sit in front of the camera and talk for like 20 minutes. Like, who wants to watch that, So I think footage without context of me just tweaking is probably best for my voiceover. So here I am. I'm actually alive. I did not disappear. I did not change my name. And I didn't change my number. I am still exactly where I was. So, if I were to tell you about the Canada trip, I would start by mentioning my taxi driver. His name is Seamus Glynn, and he was probably the best taxi driver I've ever had. His car was amazing. It was electric, brand new. And when I asked him about it, he was insanely proud of it. And he proceeded to tell me exactly how he got the whole car for free out of being smart around stuff like grants and, how old you are and blah, blah, blah. So he found
insane loopholes in the law, and he got the whole thing for free.
I was then the proud owner of this lovely electric car that the government, it won't actually cost me a penny.
I went to Canada to see my friends with Air Transat, and that airline has a weird name and a weird vibe, to be honest. Like, I've never been to a plane before where, 2 hours of the flight will have passed and you still don't have like drinks and food. It's wild. Like, 2 hours? What? How much time do you need? Ryanair can do the entire plane back and forth, give everyone food in a 40-minute flight. Like, what are you waiting for, Air Transat? Like, and when I tried to call someone, I literally just wanted a bottle of water. I was ready to pay 10 quid for it, as is the usual on planes. But like, they just didn't give it to me. She said, oh, wait, we're coming with the trolley. 2 hours later, they came in with the trolley. The plane itself is comfortable. I don't know. It's just, I did not have a good trip on the way there, and I did not have a good trip on the way back. But like, Greenland was pretty amazing flying over it. Looks like Game of Thrones, looks like the North, the Wall. And Canada feels incredible. Very North America. I got insanely lucky because the moment I landed in Toronto, like, I was there, I took the train, I took a photo of the needle, and the next day it was underwater. The next day, Drake's Mansion underwater. And I was sitting beautifully with my friends in Windsor instead of like fucking around with Toronto girl. Instead of swimming in Toronto. Oh, sorry. That's actually, I shouldn't be so light and breezy about it. Maybe, I keep thinking that if Drake lost his property, like, I don't give a damn, but there's probably more people that lost property. Anyways, sorry guys. So my friends are angels, actually. Paula and Leo, they're literal angels from heaven, and what they did for me was really like reset my entire personality. I cannot remember the last time I went for a trip and I was able to relax like this and feel like taken care of. And was really spoiled rotten by these two. Like, it's just so good to reunite with old-time friends and do insanely fun stuff together. I think I will put up a quick montage of like everything that we did, but to be honest, I have been trying to get this video out for like over a month, Maybe montage, maybe not, but know in your hearts that this trip was incredible. Que é isso, gente?
Olha que gostosinho, amigo.
What? It actually got me back into the arts. So if you're watching me painting this picture of Nico right now, that's because Paula, this angel, she showed me that, you can sculpt, you can paint, and you can do that in the comfort of your own house instead of watching people on YouTube do it. So thank you, Paula, for helping me realize that I have every right to live my life. But honestly, what an amazing trip. I don't know if on this footage I still look as tan as I was when I came back, because I did not expect Canada to be roasting honey. That was very wild. Anyways, what else did I want to cover in this video? Because like I've been gone for like over a month. The entirety of summer has happened, and I suppose I just wanted like a forum to talk about it. As if I don't talk about it with my friends already. Well, it's more like there are so many topics where I can talk about it with my friends, but only like to a limit, I don't think any of my friends wants to hear me rant about RuPaul's Drag Race for like 10 minutes, but this is my channel, so I can do whatever I want. And yeah, first, actually, let me go back a little bit and explain to everyone, why was I gone? Like, what was I doing? So I'm a corporate girl, and I am in a pretty difficult corporate girl era where I have tons of responsibilities that I did not have in the past. For a long time, I've been used to my job just being like, open Gmail and execute everything that people ask. Like, that's honestly most corporate jobs, and I am not complaining. Like, it used to be that it was amazing, but now I'm in a position where there's a lot more planning and talking to people, and yeah, I mean, what can I say? Hell is other people. But even though I was being a corporate girl, I was also enjoying my Brett Summer. Brett Summer is now coming to an end, and a demure fall approaches. You know, let's be mindful and demure during fall. I'm sure I'm not the first person to say this. Yeah. No, actually, I saw an Instagram video of this girl. Like, she had a whole, like, philosophical thesis around like Brett Summer going into demure fall is because like we have the Apollonian and the Dionysiac instincts. Girl, she went really deep with that. Love people going crazy on Instagram. What else happened in the summer? Like, the Olympics happened, so I watched the opening of the Olympics for the first time in fucking 20 years, girl. I couldn't be less interested, you know, and this is not a diss to sports people, but it's their world. It's 100% not my world, you know? So the day they get excited for a RuPaul's Drag Race finale, I will get excited for their shit. And, but even though it's, you know, lots of iconic things happened, the drag queens were present in the opening ceremony, so fair play to France, and fair play to like Australia, all the other countries in the past that have featured drag queens, because that's a really, like, you know, it's a political statement. I know it's just a man in a wig, but if your country puts them on the opening ceremony, apparently that can send J.K. Rowling in her moldy mansion into a fucking coma on Twitter. Oh my god, I so want to be her. Like, I so want to watch this being sued by our boxing champion. I hope she gets all the money she deserves. It's so disappointing. Every time she comes out with something new, I'm like, damn, gone are the days where I was proud of this fucking franchise. Anyways, what else happened? Well, drag was on the opening ceremony, but on the closing ceremony, there was Billie Eilish singing The Greatest. If you haven't watched that, you should go. And yeah, literally close my video and go watch Billie singing at The Greatest at the Olympics. It will be a better time than watching my video. And she eats every single time. Like in the footage that you are watching right now, I was painting Nico and I was listening to some Billie. My congratulations. And I love The Greatest. This is such an amazing song, and I hope that, you know, if last album we had Happier Than Ever and her voice went up in a way we didn't expect, and on this album her voice went even upper in a way we didn't expect, next album I fully expect her to be like Queen of the Night. Literally singing opera Billie. That's what we want from you. Well, she already does in a way, like beautiful soprano voice. Well, now that I mentioned drag queens, let me go back to Drag Race and all of the franchises and everything that's happening. So if any straight person is watching this, let me just inform you that Drag Race has become gay football. Like, we have leagues on every single country. We have like 12, 15 championships across the year, you know. We have a lot to keep up with. We have our own fantasy leagues. We have everything that you associate with football and other sports. Trust and believe, there's a version of that in the Drag Race fandom. And they're actually eating. Like, I don't understand people that criticize RuPaul. Well, I understand criticizing RuPaul and World of Wonder here and there, you know, out of like missteps and like weird things that they do every now and then. But like saying that they're trash, they're like, I just don't understand that point of view. Like, to me, this is an insanely amazing era to be alive and gay, because watching all of these artists week after week after week. It's like, it's amazing. Like, where the hell would I see, artistry like that? Yeah, there are places in Dublin where I can see artistry similar to that one, but I want to see it from all around the world. I am extremely global myself, Mr. Worldwide, just like Pitbull. I love culture from every country, not just from, select countries. So while the US Drag Race remains like the main franchise, that's only in the eyes of Americans, because if you know what's up, if you know that Spain and the Philippines, those two are actually the best franchises. But I think you would have to be Latino to agree with that. Like, it's just watching, those ethnicities that are so similar to Brazilians perform on TV. Obviously, there's Drag Race Brazil, right? But I did like that. I did enjoy that. But Spain and Philippines, like, especially Philippines, right? I want to make a big point of this here, because in Drag Race Brazil, there was a lot of, disappointing looks, I'm sorry to say. And all the queens are like, yeah, we do a lot with the little money that we have. Our situation is not easy, blah, 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 blah. And they have this whole talk, right? But in the Philippines, I would argue that, especially if you are a Manila queen, like, it's insanely competitive. They're not necessarily swimming in money either, but they still come out with crazy stuff that you just don't see in Brazil. The creativity of Brazilian designers, personally, for me, I believe that it's yet to reach the same levels that we see in the Philippines. Like, their fashion is insane. But also, maybe I'm thinking they might have access to cheaper materials just out of being in Asia in general and closer to China, right? So maybe in Brazil, making good drag like that is tough because of materials. I would see that being a huge problem. Like, the cheap stuff that you find in Brazil just looks insanely cheap, So yeah, there's definitely some artistry involved to like make it look good. But yeah, the French season this year was really good. I'm trying to remember who won. And this is no shade. It was a great season. But I'm trying really hard to remember who won. Can one page tell me her name? Le Philippe. How did I forget that her name was Le Philippe? That's so funny. Anyways, she ate. She was really, really good. I really liked her performances. It reminded me of the first queen that won the Sweden version. That was like the same kind of winner, It's like she came in, she knew exactly her character and was a powerful, blasé sort of bitch, but there was a soft and squishy side to both of these winners. And yeah, it was overall, like, France is a really enjoyable season every time. And we also had Canada versus, was it? Yeah, the one Lemon just won. I mean, I am obsessed with Lemon, always have been. I do think she's a really amazing rapstress, and I think a lot of people make fun of like her saying that about herself, but she would 100% believe herself, because I do believe that she is good with the flow. Her flow is surprising. Her flow is not Dr. Seuss. She will turn it around and she will like do a lot of athletics and crazy shit with the way she flows. It's not mind-blowing, right? Because the topics are always like cunty, I am serve, I am this, I am that. But she's really good with words. And what else do we have? Global All-Stars has been, wow. I am disappointed because 14 queens, one from each country, that had so much promise. But the show suffers from exactly what I thought was going to happen, which is it's really hard to get all of those languages working together. And like people that are competing in their second language, I can only imagine how challenging that is. English is my second language, but I don't know if like, I don't know what it would be like in a competition environment. Like I have been working in English for 12 years, but a lot of the 14 queens that were cast, they were not, they haven't been working in English. So imagine RuPaul is telling you some shit and you're like trying to make sense of it and you're laughing. Like that must be a really I don't know. It must be frustrating for the queens, you know, especially if they ate their season back in their country, especially if they're really funny or really iconic or really charismatic in their original language. And if that gets lost in translation, I can only imagine how, annoying that is for them. Miranda is already out, our Brazilian representative. She did what she did, you know, I thought it was fair. I wish honestly, like I think every Brazilian feels in their heart that they would love to see either Pablo or Glória Groove go into one of these shows and eat the dolls up. But at the same time, they have careers that are somewhat bigger than RuPaul's. No, they're not. Wait a minute. Would I say that both Glória Groove and Pablo started drag because of RuPaul's Drag Race? Honestly, yeah, a little bit. Like, yeah. I don't think these two could look me in the eye and say RuPaul's Drag Race has not influenced me in the slightest. Absolutely not. But yeah, they did the Brazilian thing, which is to take something to the extreme utmost level of excellency, honey. And now they are huge. So yeah, I don't think they would subject themselves to going into the Brazilian version of the franchise and being judged by Greg Queen, who, by the way, she's an amazing artist on her own. She is just as good as Pablo and Glória. Incredible vocalist. If you don't know this queen, I mean, go check her out. She sang. She sings. Okay, what else is going on? In the Hoyoverse world, this is hilarious. Like that, I now realize that my voiceover is probably the least relatable video I've ever made. It's like, oh, here's 20 minutes about Drag Race, and now I'm gonna talk 20 minutes about Hoyoverse and the games that I play. Everyone listening is like, bitch, we don't care about that. Well, I don't care about what you care. And I'm gonna talk about it anyways. So in the world of Hoyoverse, first we had, I think, early summer Simulanka happened in Genshin Impact, and it was just as good as, you know, their other summer events. They're very, very good at crafting a good summer event. Simulanka was pretty good. I really liked playing through the story. The environments were incredible, really beautiful. And then we switched to Star Rail, where we had the March 7th training patch. And honestly, that was so good. That inspired me to go back to like working out. Like Hoyoverse is incredible at but like they have messages, right? Their messages are embedded in their storytelling, right? And all that they're trying to do with the March 7th, you know, training montage and all of the things that they mentioned that the characters say about becoming better and the ways you can go about becoming better, the paths you can take, you know, that mission and that quest perfectly exemplified, like, you should build up on small iterations, you know, like you do a little training here, you do a little training there, but much like March, you have to, first of all, plan for anything that you want to achieve. You need a little bit of planning, a little bit, you know, just so you're not like doing things willy-nilly. And second, you need to mix in fun times and like relaxation. So March, if you set her up for like training after training after training, she would be sick and tired of it, and her training the next day would be less efficient. So that's so clever. It's just Genshin telling us like, listen, if you want to slay, girl, take 30 minutes and go for a walk and do something, you know, that isn't like hustle work.
Don't fight me, Specialist Scott!
And so love that. And then going back to Genshin Impact, we had Natlan coming out. I have no words to describe how deeply this impacted me. I have been waiting for a long time. I wasn't watching trailers. I wasn't watching anything. No spoilers. I just wanted to be like fully impacted by whatever was going to happen there. And boy, oh boy, did it impact me. Like I know that MiHoYo has been in a lot of, they have been catching a lot of heat online because of their they're apparently being very insisting on not adding dark-skinned characters to their main cast. They do have tons of dark characters in the secondary cast of NPCs, right? But that lack of representation in the main cast, you know, obviously makes so many fans around the world that are people of color to look at the franchise and go, damn, bro, you know, can you represent us a little? But, even though it's a global franchise, it makes money all over the world, I do think that sometimes people are a little imposing, you know? Like, this is a Chinese game made by Chinese people. For you to come in and say, hey, can we have a Latino, please? Latino, make people Latino. And, you know, I think the internet's argument is that Genshin is going into all of those countries and stealing their culture and just putting it on the game, but erasing their color, the color of their skin. And that couldn't be further from the truth, actually. If you are familiar with all of the stuff that Hoyoverse does, not just the games, you would know that the soundtrack for each region is made in collaborations with musicians from that region, and that they are very they are given great, you know, they are giving an amazing, massive production to showcase their talents and their skill, you know, and there are people from all ethnicities, all kinds of instruments from all over the world. They all come together in the Hoyo Mix universe, which is the musical universe. And I don't know. I don't know if my opinions on this matter are necessarily good. Like, trust and believe. I understand the point of representation, right? I really get it that we want to see us portrayed in the characters that we love, but you know, Hoyoverse is not stopping you from cosplaying. It's not stopping you from making fan artwork, you know, to reimagine that universe in whatever way you want. But I don't know, it's just strange to me that representation, I think it's much more useful when it happens organically and when it happens from a deeper place than the color of the skin. And let me tell you this, okay, with Natlan, the story so far, I've played all the story they have available, and we still have more chapters to come, but from what I've played so far, what Hoyoverse did is they expertly synthesized the culture of so many countries around the world before colonization. You know, their whole thing with the ley lines and the Wayob, like the way that people keep their stories, like, you know, the ley lines is the history that white man writes, you know, that applies to Mondstadt, to Fontaine, to all of those places. Maybe not Sumeru, a little bit, because you have the academia, but yeah, and now we are in Natlan, which is a lot more spiritual, you know, like so many cultures in the real world, like the islanders, Brazilians, Africa, Philippines, like all of these cultures that had their own rich tapestry before colonizers arrived, and they had their own way of going about life, you know. Hoyoverse, they could have portrayed Natlan to be like the war-torn country, and I hate the fact that people online are like, this isn't the country of war. I expected a war-torn fucking ravaged country. Yeah, because you are used to racist representations of Africa. That's why, Bib. That's why, Bibs, you were expecting Natlan to be messy and just like, you know, fire everywhere, people dying. That's because media, Western media, has made you believe that that's what Africa looks like. But Hoyoverse went in and they said, no. Africa is about, first of all, the beauty of nature. So they really represented that in the game, but also they went super deep and represented the beauty of the people too. And every region does that, you know. People in Mondstadt, they are as beautiful and as ugly as your typical European, you know. Same as Fontaine. Like there's a lot of the culture from here was adapted into the personalities of characters and NPCs. And this is something you can notice, you know, if you live in Europe and you talk to the NPCs on those places, they have European mindsets. It's so much deeper than what people give Hoyoverse credit for. And I think the same happens in Liyue and Inazuma. I can't say for sure because I haven't lived in China or Japan. But yeah, I think they're doing a bloody amazing work and they should keep doing it. And I love every second of it. Wow. What else? This is already such a long voiceover. I don't want this to be a long video. Fuck it. I'm gonna cut some stuff out. Okay. I've talked about the things that I was feeling most passionate already. So let's, in the last 5 minutes, I'm gonna rush through a bunch of topics that I've been wanting to mention. So first of all, Taylor Tomlinson, this comedian, she stole my show. Her new show, newish show, After Midnight, after Colbert. Like, I've only started watching the clips on YouTube now, and like, girl, that's such a good show. Like, that's Tosh.0, but like 3.0. You know, it's the Gen Z version. And looking at funny stuff on the internet and commenting on it with your comedian friends, I mean, she stole my idea and she stole everyone's idea because everyone has had their idea before in the past. Love the show. Keep going, Taylor. And I found out also that Pop Girlies, they stole my sound somehow. Okay, I'm throwing accusations here at mainly Billie Eilish and Phineas because what they did in Hit Me Hard and Soft were like songs changed the vibe. I know that like System of a Down was doing this 12 years ago with, you know, BYOB, even older. There are much like fucking Bohemian Rhapsody, you know, girl. Like, we're all used to songs that go left and right and you don't know where they're gonna take you. But I don't know. I think in the latest Pop Girlies, sometimes I listen to decisions that they made on their songs and I'm like, that's exactly the idea I had last year for a song that would sound really good. So they're hackers, mind hackers. They are hacking my mind. I also found DIY Crafts that to be an insane channel. Really couldn't believe the stuff that he's doing over there. He's been famous for years and I only found out about it now. But like, I'm a DIY obsessed person. I don't do it myself. I just watch it on YouTube, but I watch so many people do it and I can't believe I didn't know his channel. Actually, here's a list of crazy channels that I've been digging lately. What else? Friendships as an adult, they are complicated, but they are also easy the more I think about it. And that's all I'm gonna say on the matter. I also made the most beautiful cake in the world. Look at this cake. How good is that? And I made potato buns too, filled with chicken pesto. I also watched the Chromatica Tour and it was a really crazy experience, you know. It took me back to being a little monster in college and being like obsessed with Gaga, watching every single video of hers and thinking she was this cool alien from another world that came to bless us with, you know, her lessons. And now I see her a lot more like a human being. But yeah, Chromatica was the most Gaga spectacle that you could ever wish for. Like, it was Gaga from beginning to end. I was a little frustrated at the beginning because things started so slow and she was like stationary, literally wouldn't move a limb in the first 2 songs, and she was all voice, you know, and her body was like cocooned in this thing and it couldn't move. So yeah, the first 5 minutes I was like, Jesus Christ, is she gonna break out or what? And she absolutely broke out of her cocoon and danced and performed and did everything we love from her. There was actually so many songs from A Star Is Born that I need to rewatch that movie because I didn't remember a lot of the songs in the show. And speaking of movies, in the same weekend that I watched Chromatica, I watched Moonstruck. Oh wow, that was such a good combo for the weekend, to be honest. And I have Trixie Mattel to thank for the recommendation of Moonstruck. I don't know if it was her or Kelly Mantle. Someone in the pod definitely made a comment. And Moonstruck is great. It's Cher and Nicolas Cage. I don't have to tell you anything else. They're Italian. That's all you should know. They're New York Italians. Like, so funny. And so yeah, like watching movies from movies from back in the day, they really hit different. I cannot think of a recent movie that made me feel like Moonstruck did. There was you can't put your finger on it. What else? Also, thanks to Trixie, I have watched Jawbreaker for the first time, and it's insanely iconic. I did not know that it was iconic to that level. It really shocked me and it took me by surprise. So yeah, look at me, very cultural. Oh, another one from Trixie's, from the pod. I don't know who said it. Yeah, it was Trixie probably. She's watching like old movies with David, and she said Sunset Boulevard and Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. So I watched both of those. They are very interesting. I didn't hate on them because they're old movies. If anything, I appreciate the script and the editing and the choices way more, because nowadays everything has a really specific aesthetic and there's a way of doing movies. And back in the day, I don't know. I don't really make sense in what I'm saying right now. But thank you, Trixie, for all of those wonderful recommendations. I no longer need to pretend that I'm cultured whenever people mention those movies. And it feels great watching the thing that everyone says is iconic and arriving at my own conclusions. Rings of Power by Amazon. Shite. I couldn't get through the first 15 minutes of season 2. Did not really get into House of the Dragon this second season. I'll be honest, I watched season 1 a little bit on my phone. Like, it didn't, those like broody shows where everything's so dark and like, ooh, it's a grim reality, backstabbing. Like, these shows, the editing is so glacial, the pacing compared to a RuPaul's Drag Race, RuPaul's Drag Race ruined TV for me. If it's not as funny, as poignant as everything that Drag Race is, I basically I will not put my phone down. What else? Scavengers Reign. Everyone was talking about this, and I do believe that, it's extremely good. They have the ultimate art department, the best art department of all time. Like, such unbelievable, animations. But I don't know if the script department was as good, because I did follow the story. Like, I fully got what was happening, and I know that it's closer to an anime than it is to a Hollywood production, in the sense that some of the stuff that happens on the screen is not necessarily carrying the story anywhere. It's just impressions. It's just things that are happening and contributing to a vibe, but not moving a plot in the way that we are sometimes so like, move the plot. And they're just painting a vibe, really. So it was an okay show to watch. Daniel Radcliffe was very entertaining in the Weird Al biopic. The Bear is honestly as worthy of the hype as Ted Lasso. It's a little bit like you had to be there and you had to watch it with your friends and comment with them. But yeah, the moment it was a lot of fun while I was watching it, but then I never thought about it again. Both of those. I watched Bottoms on Prime Video, and that shit was hilarious. It is truly this generation's Mean Girls, crazy and fresh and extremely quotable. So much happens in this movie. And Mean Girls 2, which is meant to be the actual Mean Girls for this generation, it's good. Look, I just wanted to watch Renee Rapp slay her performances, and I can't even remember the plot of the movie, so I'm sure it's good. Wow, I talked for 35 minutes. I don't know how much of this I'm gonna keep in, but you can also see that I finished the artwork for my baby, and don't let the video fool you. This artwork was done across like fucking a month, girl, a month. Okay, I sat down and thought it was gonna be one day, and it was a month. It's a lot of work to do a mosaic like this, where every bit is a different color. Anyways, that's it. Thank you guys thank you to, I think there's 2 people watching, and it's Paula and Lika. I'm not even sure they are watching, but these are the 2 people I told about my channel. So if you're watching, love you girlies. Yeah, they didn't make it this far in the video for sure. All right, next video, I'm gonna be back talking to the camera about some of my favorite topics, but it'll be good. Jesus Christ, just get it over with. Bye.